Hello and happy spooky season. And I know what you're thinking, Kendra, it's not even October yet. Why are you calling it spooky season? Let me tell you, imaginary other half of this conversation, any season is spooky season. Especially if you're scared enough. Boo. Did I scare you? I totally scared you. I scared everybody. So last year, around Halloween time, I made this. And I made it specifically because I saw it online for way too much money. I'm not usually a wreath person, but I mean, it's spooky and scary. That's my vibe. So I got excited and I'm like, I have to have this. And then I opened up Etsy, which is where it was listed, and I saw how much it cost. And don't get me wrong, I fully support people knowing their value. I fully support artists charging what they think their art is worth. But I worked at a nonprofit, so I was kind of working with a budget. And now I have zero budget, so I went ahead and made my own. The thing is though, I didn't record the creation process of it. And if I did, the footage is so far gone. And so that leads us to today. We are going to recreate this Halloween wreath. I'm going to be making some modifications. First of all, I do not have any leftover flowers from that project. I used everything that I had at that point. We'll deal with the flower issue when we get to it. My concern is that there's probably not Halloween flowers out yet, which is either going to delay this video, which is fine, but also, like, I don't want it to be delayed. Worst case scenario, I can buy cheap flowers and spray paint them to look the way I want. It's an issue that we'll get to when the time comes. But the first thing that we need to do is work on the actual wreath. Now, most people, when they make wreaths, at a minimum, most people will go to like Dollar Tree and get the metal round frame. I didn't know that the first time I made one, and it worked okay for me. And I mean, if a process isn't broke, why fix it? So I'm making my wreath from scratch. Completely from scratch, like no foundation or anything. And how I do that is I basically just gather a whole bunch of sticks and wrap them together with some twine. I might modify just a little bit because I did go through a lot of twine last time, and I feel like it took away from some of the branch feeling that I was going for. So I'm going to try using fishing line for the majority of the heavy holding, and then the twine can be sort of the final loop through. That way the twine can be more of the aesthetic element than the structural element. I think that will also be easier to weave between branches. So the first thing that we need to do is get some branches, and I kind of don't really want to go outside because it's like 100 degrees out and that is disgusting. But we're gonna have to do it, so let's go outside. So the nice thing is that we had a branch fall off the tree like a few months ago, so it's been sitting here and drying out. So I don't have to go very far. So I'm just gonna grab some sticks. And I don't want any of these leaves, so I'm just gonna pluck those off. You know, sometimes I really wonder what my neighbors think of me when I'm out here with one hand holding a camera and playing with a dead branch that I'm holding between my legs. As a normal person does on a 100-degree day. So this is basically a small tree worth of branches. We're gonna see if this works, and if it doesn't, I know where to get more. Okay, welcome to my floor. Cinnamon has somehow acquired a leaf, even though I thought I got all of the leaves off of it. Cinnamon's gonna help me with this process. It's more tedious than anything. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to break some of these branches down. I'm gonna take my fishing line and start just sort of tying them together. Don't eat my crafting materials, sir. We'll just kind of see based on the shapes that I end up with. Because I did have a really nice curve last time, and I have kind of the start of a curve with this stick in particular. So we'll see. So this is where we skip to the montage, so let's do that. You ready, Cinnamon? So this is definitely a trust the process kind of project. And I put a lot of faith in a process that I completely made up and did exactly one time. Right now, it looks like a hot mess. I do like that I went with the fishing line because I do think it looks a little bit cleaner from like far away. And especially considering I'm gonna be putting flowers over the majority of the mess. Really, what this is all about is creating a foundation that the flowers can adhere to. What I am doing is trying to kind of shape the outskirts a little bit. One, because it is pretty wide. We are definitely starting to get into the shape. But basically I need this to sort of come out this way a little bit more, which I still have plenty of branches. You saw the tree outside and I still have stuff that I brought in. And it may be as simple as just a few more branches that kind of go this way. Along with, I sort of sit and kind of form it and sculpt it as I go along. I'm going to finish this hot mess and I will get back to you, honestly, whatever day ends up being that I have flowers. Yep. Okay, I'll see you then. It is very thoroughly September now. This is where we're sitting. Right now I'm not really sure which side is going to be the top and which side is going to be the bottom. However, at the moment I'm leaning towards this side. I might also just add some wire later on and make that a little bit easier to hang, because the last one I did was kind of a pain to figure out how to hang. But I know it, and Cinnamon is trying very hard to eat my wreath. So I don't really remember where I left off last time, but this is where we're at now. Everything's bundled together. It's a good time. What I need to do next is paint this black. I'm gonna take this outside and spray paint it, and then we're gonna hot glue the flowers all along here. Without further ado, let's go outside where it's way too hot for September, but you know, it's the Midwest, so it's gonna do what's gonna do. Stop trying to poke your eye out, sir. So I'll catch you on the floor once this is painted and dried, and we'll pop some flowers on here. Okay, so this is what my wreath is looking like. It's very dark. And then I got a bunch of flowers from Dollar Tree. And I got a variety of flowers because I wasn't really sure exactly what the vibe was going to be. So I have these kind of black roses. Some of them have additional kind of sticks. And then some glittery skulls that I'm probably not going to use, but I have them. And then I have these kind of black daisies. Again, with kind of like these glittery spiders that I probably won't use, but a bunch of those. And then I also got some purple. Black and purple is sort of my favorite combination. I tried to get more than I thought I would need, and being that it was Dollar Tree, it was $1.25 per bouquet, so it wasn't horribly expensive. And they don't look half bad, and considering this is going to be a wreath, it's going to be more or less an indoor only wreath because I'm not a person that puts wreaths outside. It works. So the next step is basically to just pluck all of these flowers off of the stems because the stems are useless to me, and then we will start hot gluing the flowers to the wreath. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the next step. So cut to the time lapse. Flowers are in. This is what we're looking at right now. And it's looking quite nice. I will say with the flowers in, it is becoming more and more apparent how off balance this is, which is fine. But it does pose some interesting dilemmas as far as the original design for this wreath, which is, of course, cat at the bottom and then dangly thing along the top. But with that in mind, I do think I'm going to change the design up a little bit. You know, why would I need two of the same wreath anyway? Also, the first time I did this, I used a Cricut cutter and some chipboard to make the cat, and this time I was like, you know what? I want it to be a little bit sturdier, so I'm gonna 3D print it, which was fine. Only I made it really small. Technically, I could print another one. I have space to make it bigger, but like, then what am I gonna do with this cat? That would be a waste of resin, and I'm not wasteful here. So I think this is ridiculously small on the wreath. It's hilarious. So what I'm gonna do instead, I mean, from a DIY perspective, you get where this is going. You take your cat, whether it's chipboard or 3D print resin, and you just sort of adhere it, probably with hot glue if you're me, just right there, and then you get a cute little dangly gem jewel thing and paint it there, and then it's done. We're gonna do something a little bit different again, because why would I need two wreaths that look very similar? Instead, we're going to take this cat. We're gonna be putting it somewhere here within the flowers. So I'm going to go paint this cat. I'm going to attach the cat to the wreath. I'm gonna do some kind of final things, and then we'll come back for the final result and final conversations about it. So let's go. Okay, hi, the lighting here is terrible, but it's fine. We're going to talk about this guy, but I'm also going to lower my camera because that's a terrible angle. How are we feeling about this sudden change in audio quality? It's a choice for sure. I feel like this went a lot smoother. Hello, Cinnamon. Please don't lick my microphone. I feel like this went so much smoother than the first time around, largely because I've done it before, so I kind of knew what I was doing, whereas the first time I did this project, I was totally winging it. There is a severe lack of tutorials on the internet of like how to make your own wreath from scratch. There are tons of tutorials on how to like design a wreath using a pre-purchased form, which makes sense given the fact that you can buy the wire forms at Dollar Tree for $1.25. But the first time I made this project, I wanted to make it completely from scratch, and so I grabbed sticks and I tied them together and I hoped for the best, and it turned out well enough. This guy is a little wonky. It's giving a little bit more of an L shape than a moon shape, which I'm not really here for, but it is what it is. I think the issues that I had with this project largely came down to, one, trying to rush it because I have no patience, but also the fact that I started this project knowing that I didn't have the materials to finish it when I started it. Starting it without all of the materials meant that I then had to wait until I got the materials, and that gave me an opportunity to forget that this was a project I was working on. And so even though I started this project, in August, it's only now finished. Whatever. Doing this project again was nice because it did give me an opportunity to document the process, which is part of why I'm revisiting some of the projects that I've done that weren't recorded. It's obviously not a how-to video, but it does sort of show the process and the progress. If I were to do this project for a third time, I would definitely take a little bit more time with the formation of the wreath itself so that it doesn't have quite so strong of an L. I might consider going to Dollar Tree and buying one of those wire wreath forms just to have as a base for my shape. I don't think it's necessary, and especially given the fact that the wreath that I'm making is never going to go outside. I never intended for even the first one to go outside. It's very much an indoor wreath. If I was designing it for outside, first of all, I wouldn't. But second of all, I'd probably use a stronger glue than hot glue. Personally, I still think it looks good as an L, It does kind of miss the original point of it being a moon. I think it would have been a lot better if I could claim that I was trying to do an initial. Nobody in this house has L as one of their initials, so it's fine. It does give me an idea for a future iteration of this project in which I do initials instead of like a circular or circular-ish wreath. As far as the amount of time that I took on this project, it was really only a couple hours in total. The time it took to form the wreath, which is really based entirely on the sticks that I found. I want to say it took me 45 minutes to an hour, and then gluing on the flowers itself took maybe an hour. It's one of those things that could take longer if you're very particular about it, or it could take less time if everything just sort of falls into place and you're just really snappy about it. As far as cost of materials, not using a wreath base definitely saves some money because the wreath base itself was completely free. Fishing wire, you can get a roll of that for like $5, not even. And then the flowers I got from Dollar Tree, and I got I think like 10 bouquets. I don't think I even used all of them, so we're talking less than $20. Anyways, with that, I am going to go. I have been drowning in a paper for the past week, which I did finally get submitted today, but that also means that other homework got backed up. So we're gonna go do that and edit this video. And yeah, so like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel because I post a new video every Wednesday. And what else do I say in my outros? I don't know. Comment other things that you would like to see me make in the future, or things that you would like me to talk about in the future. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you next Wednesday.